All right, good morning, everybody. Wednesday morning now, just about 8:15, and we just got an update from the Hurricane Center on what has been a rapidly intensifying Hurricane Laura in the Gulf of Mexico over the last 24 hours. It was on its way to become a hurricane this time yesterday morning, and this morning, not only a hurricane, but a major hurricane moving through the Gulf of Mexico right now. And this intensification is likely to continue all the way up until landfall sometime tonight into tomorrow morning. So looks like we've got a good bit of people watching. A good morning to all of you watching. And let's talk about the latest here. I do want to show you this is the latest loop over the last 12 hours of this intensifying storm from a Category 1 hurricane late last night to early this morning became a Category 2. And as of the 8 o'clock advisory, the Hurricane Center has confirmed what the Hurricane Hunters found, which was wind speeds in excess of 111 miles per hour, which would technically make it that Category 3 or major hurricane. Wind speeds right now estimated at around 115 miles per hour, moving to the northwest at 15 miles per hour. Let me take you down to, actually, let me show you the Saffir-Simpson scale first. This just gives you the breakdown of the wind speeds for the categorization of the hurricane. Cat 3 begins at 111 miles per hour right now. It is forecast to increase with wind speeds up to 130 miles per hour before landfall. And all those winds pushing toward the coast is going to produce a storm surge, a pretty significant storm surge in southwestern Louisiana, where they could see 10 to 15 feet of storm surge pushing ashore, and in some places that water, you see how it's relatively swampy there in southwestern Louisiana, a lot of lakes and swampland there. That water could push nearly 30 miles inland, so you might even see surge push potentially to the Lake Charles area, or at least just south of I-10 and Lake Charles. That'll be obviously an ongoing situation, and just one threat that the folks along the northwestern Gulf of Mexico are working with. There's actually hurricane warnings in effect all the way into northern Louisiana from the coast. Those hurricane warnings stretch about 175 miles from the coast, which is crazy to see those hurricane warnings extend that far north. It's just going to take a while for this storm to weaken. And there's actually tropical storm warnings there. Let's measure that out. About 300 miles inland, all the way into southwestern Louisiana right now. So here's the latest satellite imagery. You can see the eye of the storm has moved since I last plotted it there, but there's the eye of the storm, and pretty obvious eye with the strongest of the wind speeds generally in this area right here. So that's where we have the strongest of the winds right now. There is a Hurricane Hunter flying this hurricane right now. There was the report that where they found those wind speeds at 112 miles per hour. Hurricane Center analyzed that data and have found that that it's probably more likely 115 miles per hour. Now, what I want to do is also tack on the pressure, the lowest pressure that they have been able to find within the storm. So the Hurricane Hunters are flying. They're trying to find that lowest pressure, and it looks like the pressure has dropped down to 953 millibars. So 953 millibar low pressure system, and that low has been continuing to deepen. So the pressure gets lower and lower and lower, which means the storm is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Here's the satellite imagery of in a 3D scale. You can really make out that eye and the surrounding eye wall of the storm. Here's the latest forecast track, takes it to the north and west, guys. This is a scary situation for the folks there in southwestern Louisiana and Texas, with that surge of 10 to 15 feet, and then the threat for those devastating wind speeds between 120 to 130 miles per hour. Wind gusts could be as high as 150 miles per hour as the storm moves inland, and the storm continues to weaken after it moves inland into northern Louisiana. It actually tracks into the mid-Mississippi Valley all the way up into Kentucky as a tropical depression, and then likely weakening to a remnant low-pressure system by Sunday morning just off the mid-Atlantic coast. But the next 24 hours with this storm are going to be the most dire for everyone, with the worst of the conditions moving ashore between now and probably around 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Have a look at the latest European forecast model. This is just one of the forecast models, obviously, but look at this track. It takes the center of the storm pretty much right to the border of Texas and Louisiana. This is saying around 4 o'clock in the morning. It might be a little sooner than that, but again, this is just one forecast models. But that's where the surge would be the most intense, the highest, I should say, along the coast of what would be Louisiana there, and those wind speeds. That's where you could see right in this area here, those wind speeds up there around 130 miles per hour. So it's going to be a scary night for anyone who hasn't evacuated in southwestern Louisiana and Texas through tonight into early tomorrow morning. So that's the latest, guys. I mean, there's really not much more to say aside from that, though. I mean, it's a life-threatening situation. It's a scary situation, and you just hope everybody has prepared and has done what they need to do to make sure that they've protected themselves and their property for this storm as it approaches the coast. You hate to see it. You hate to see these situations and these storms. They entered the Gulf of Mexico, and there was just so much fuel available for them to strengthen, and all the other atmospheric conditions were right for strengthening. So it's kind of been full tilt for strengthening with all that warm water in the Gulf of Mexico. So the surge is a big threat, obviously. The surge along with the wind speeds. So often we focus on the wind speeds, but in this particular case, the surge is going to be just as devastating, if not more devastating, just with the threat for not just the high level of the water, potentially up to 15 feet, but the fact that it could move 30 feet in or 30 miles inland is definitely it's something I can't imagine. I really can't imagine that situation. You think about here in Tampa Bay, and you're looking at, we can deal with this. Very well could be our storm, and it's not. But it's just not something that you wish on anybody at all. Looking through some of the comments here, guys, just want to try to answer some of the questions that you have here. Let's see. A lot of you just saying praying for all in the path. I mean that's for sure. Strong storm, devastating storm heading in that direction right now. So we'll be watching it closely, guys. We're going to continue to keep you posted on this storm on all of our platforms, on 10tampabay.com, on our 10 Tampa Bay Facebook page, as well as our app. If you haven't downloaded it, I recommend you do. The folks behind the scenes on the digital side of things, they're doing a great job of working with our team of meteorologists and getting the latest information and sending out alerts to your phone so you get them just as we do. So we're working ahead of schedule to kind of plan for the updates from the Hurricane Center. So we're sending out those notifications ASAP. So it's a good incentive to download the app and get those push notifications, especially if you've got friends and family in the area. We've got actually some of our sister stations in the cone and in the path of this storm as well, from New Orleans to Beaumont, Texas, over to Houston as well. So we've got an invested interest in this as well. Not just from a weather perspective, but from a human interest as well. People live in those areas, and it's scary to think that just this monster is going to continue to strengthen all the way up until landfall. So keep them in your thoughts, and we'll keep you posted on this storm. But right now, it just looks like it's going to continue to strengthen all the way through landfall, which is going to be sometime tonight into tomorrow morning. Next update from the Hurricane Center will come down at 11 o'clock, and you can join Autumn Robertson for 10 Tampa Bay midday. She'll have the latest with the forecast coming up on TV. Otherwise, I've got continuous coverage online. So you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. That's the latest on Hurricane Laura. We'll talk to you soon.